When you came to radio in '72, did you get to pick what songs you play, or was that all pre-arranged?
When I came to WLS in the early '70s, not only did the people on the air not pick any of the music whatsoever, you didn't touch a turntable, you didn't touch a record, you didn't do anything, as a matter of fact, in the beginning. You couldn't even turn your own microphone on and off. There was a guy from the engineering union who turned your microphone on and off. There was a guy from the musicians union who placed a needle on a turntable to play the record. And then there was an engineer who played that on the air. And then all the music and everything else was picked by programming executives. And the station was owned by ABC. And every month, all the air talent had to sign an affidavit, legal piece of paper, swearing that we had not received any kind of payola or gifts of over a certain amount of money from any record company whatsoever. And we had no say in the music at that time. What? Not the slightest. In fact, it was a real pain.
Yeah.
Because some of their choices were a little weird.
So, who chose the music then?
Well, it was a combination between, at that time, probably there was a music director, there was a program director. I would think that they were probably the two most instrumental in picking it, but since it was also owned by ABC at that time, and all of the ABC AM stations were rock stations, that there would also be conference calls between WABC in New York, WXYZ in Detroit, WLS in Chicago, whoever, KABC in LA, or whoever was out on the West Coast, and that they would have their conference calls and decide on what to be played. The single most embarrassing thing about it was that it was extremely difficult for bands that were in Chicago to get on Chicago radio, to at least get on big Chicago radio stations like WLS, because they were so strict and narrow in the music that they played. And since they felt that they were in the big time, for a song to actually be added and go on the air, it had to prove itself in smaller cities around the country before WLS or stations like it would consider it. So, literally, bands like Chicago, Styx, Cheap Trick, REO Speedwagon, all of those bands had to and it was really sort of embarrassing, because after a while all the really hip FM stations were playing all these bands and we weren't. And WLS was usually the last to get on a local band because they had to meet so many requirements before they were finally added. And I became friends with Dennis DeYoung, who was the founding member of Styx, and it was a huge night at his house. You know, he hadn't made it big yet, and he was in the kitchen with his wife, and he had been told that WLS was finally going to play Lady, and that I was going to be the first air personality to do it, because they told me to. It wasn't any great thing that I did. And my great ad lib was, Styx, welcome to WLS. And they danced, the story is that they danced around their kitchen as the song was on the air, and they've been screwing in airs ever since, and he keeps telling that story over and over and over. And it just goes to show you how hard it was to get on there.
Yeah. Well, thanks for telling that.
Sure.
That story.
Not a problem.
Need to get those insights into...
And by the way, that album, there is a Styx album, Paradise Theater, that's for sale in the front for 99 cents.
All right. What a bargain. Now that you've heard that background story, you want to add that to your collection.